Ante is the Silver Bonito, which is operated by Wood's Silver Fleet. There are toilets located downstairs, situated at the back of the boat, near to where you entered. For the comfort of all our guests, we ask you to refrain from smoking or vaping on this cruise. Please switch your phones to silent and keep noise volume to a minimum. This is a safety announcement. This boat is licensed to carry 249 passengers. We maintain constant contact with Thames Navigation and the River Police at all times. This boat is equipped with a full complement of life jackets and life rafts. The life jackets are stowed underneath the fixed seating in the lower saloon and in a locker on the upper deck, clearly marked with a green sign. All exits are clearly marked. From the lower saloon, there are doors at both sides of the vessel, or you can exit through the sliding. The upper deck is easily accessible by steps on either side of the lobby. In the unlikely event of emergency, the captain will give you full instructions. The captain is located at the back of the boat on the upper deck. In order to keep their view of the river clear, please remain seated throughout the journey.
The London Eye River Cruise is a popular tourist activity that offers a scenic and informative boat trip along the River Thames in London. The river cruise lasts around 40 minutes to an hour. A live or recorded guide provides commentary throughout the cruise, offering insights into the history and significance of the landmarks along the way.
Boarding. This next bridge we're approaching is my personal favourite of the tour. It's Waterloo Bridge, but it gets the nickname of the only bridge here in London to be completed on time and under budget. I'll let you draw your own conclusions as to why. Now give a big wave and a cheer to all the people on Waterloo Bridge. It does look like quite a lot of office workers coming home from their jobs, so they might not be the most enthusiastic, but we're going to try and get their attention anyway. So make some noise, give your best waves, and let's see if anyone waves back. Hello on the bridge! There we go. The building on your right with the electronic screen is the National Theatre. Like many buildings along our South Bank, it has been designed in the style of Brutalist architecture. In fact, that building has been voted as the ugliest building in England, with our own King Charles describing it as looking like the back end of a nuclear power station. Not sure he's a big fan of brutalism. Despite its arguably ugly exterior, inside you'll find 3 beautiful theatres where you can get award-winning shows, often before they get a West End transfer. So for any theatre lovers we have on board today, this is where you can find West End quality shows without those West End prices. They also have great discounts for those students and those under 25 to encourage young people back into theatre. Ahead on the right hand side you'll be able to see the red brick building with white stripes. And as you may be able to guess, this was once owned by the company Oxo. If you don't know who Oxo are, they make the British stock cubes. If you don't know what stock cubes are, have a look in your nan's cupboard and you'll quite likely find some. And looking at the tyre on the top, you may think it spells out the company's name. But I can tell you that it technically does not. The tower spells nothing at all. That's because the river we are on is a royal highway, meaning it's illegal to advertise on. So when Oxo put out that tower in 1930, they were inevitably taken to court. Luckily for them, they hired a very clever lawyer. He stood there and argued, "No, that doesn't spell out Oxo. We just ordered a random set of geometric shapes that happen to be 2 circles and a cross." The judge said, "Yeah, okay, that makes total sense," and he let them keep it. So Oxo today remain the only company to legally advertise on the Thames. They say that that lawyer got a very big pay rise, but the judge never wiped a day again, as he became a laughing stock. In a few moments on your left hand side you'll get your first great views of St Paul's Cathedral, the second largest domed cathedral in the world. It is second only to St Peter's in the Vatican. The version of St Paul's you can see today is actually the 5th iteration. The 4th at the time of construction was the tallest building in the world until it burned down in the Great Fire of London in 1666. The one you see today was redesigned by Sir Christopher Wren. He designed it to stand at 365 foot tall, that is 1 foot for every day of the year. Wren was a big fan of Christianity and believed that we shouldn't just be worshipping Christ on Christmas and Easter, but every single day. These next bridges we're approaching are the Blackfriars Bridges. The name Blackfriars is from a Dominican priory that was on the north side of the river. The monks here wore black mantles over their robes, giving them the name the Blackfriars. This first red brave bridge has some birds adorned in the columns on the front. Now, for anyone that is a particular fan of wildlife, you will notice that these are freshwater birds. And as we pass under, look to your other side and you'll see they are saltwater birds. That's because the Victorians who built this bridge believed this was the point in the city where the salt and freshwater mixed. Now, we do actually know that happens about 9 miles back in Richmond, but that's all water under the bridge now. You can see that Blackfriars has a religious connection by looking at those stone columns on the front. You will see that they resemble church pulpits. They give a big wave to all the people on the top of Blackfriars Bridge. Hopefully some of them will wave back. There we go. Cathedral again, you will notice there are no other tall buildings surrounding it. That is because an old law here in London states the Dome of St Paul's must be observable from 8 key points in the city. Some of those key points are quite far away, which can explain those strangely shaped skyscrapers you see ahead of us. They were built in order to protect those sight lines. In fact, if you look at the City of London School on the left, you'll see that big glass atrium in the centre. That was built so the Dome of St Paul's can be observed directly from the river. Opposite St Paul's on your right hand side, you'll see the building with a 325-foot chimney. This was once a Bankside power station until it closed in 1980 due to pollution. It reopened in 2000 as the Tate Modern Art Gallery and is now home to the world's largest collection of international modern art. It's free to enter, so always worth a visit. But if art's not your thing, don't worry, at the top you'll find a free to enter cocktail bar. Most people generally find that after a few drinks, the art appeals to them a little bit better. Give a big wave to all these people on Millennium Bridge. They're generally quite friendly up here. I say that, I really hope one waves back now. There we go. Hello on the bridge. Just past this bridge on your right, you'll see the white building with the thatched roof. This is Shakespeare's Globe Theatre and it dates all the way back to 1997. In 1970, American director Sam Wanamaker came to London looking for a monument to his favourite playwright William Shakespeare. Unfortunately, all he found was a blue plaque on the side of a pub. He decided that simply wasn't good enough, so took it upon himself to build that reconstruction. Now, the original Shakespeare's Globe was slightly further ahead and a bit further inland from 1599 until 1613, when during a production of Henry VIII, someone thought it'd be a good idea to use a live cannon to create the sound effect of thunder. Sparks from the cannon landed on the thatched roof and setting the theatre ablaze. So you could say it is a performance that brought the house down. Don't worry, the thatched roof they installed today is fitted with sprinklers around the perimeter, which was Queen Elizabeth II's grounds for granting them permission to build that thatched roof. They give a big wave to all the people on Southwark Bridge. I can't guarantee they'll wave back as this is known to be the grumpiest bridge, but let's try anyway. Hello on the bridge. Absolutely nothing. Now, it wouldn't be a tour of London without mentioning a pub. So on your right hand side you can see the Anchor Tavern, one of London's most famous riverside pubs. It has stood there for more than 400 years, meaning many famous people across London's history have drank there. That means that Charles Dickens wrote his famous ghost stories here, Dr. Samuel Johnson compiled one of the first English dictionaries, and the diarist Samuel Pepys witnessed the Great Fire of London from that very spot. Of the Great Fire of London again, and just a second on your left hand side between the two buildings you'll see the stone column with a golden orb at the top. This has the very creative name of the monument, as it is a monument to the Great Fire of London. It was also designed by Sir Christopher Wren as he wanted a place for Londoners to go up and watch their city being rebuilt around them. You can still go up the monument today, but a word of warning, it's the world's tallest freestanding column and there is no lift, so you will have to climb all 311 stairs to get to the top. Once at the top though, you get excellent views of the City of London and even a nice certificate. Now they say if you were to lay the monument down flat, it would point directly to Pudding Lane, where the Great Fire of London first started in 1666 in a baker's shop. Give a big wave to all the people on this bridge. Maybe one of them will wave back. Or again, they'll just look at us. Now it is time for the moment you've all come to see today. The world famous, the magnificent London Bridge is directly behind you. Yes, that unimpressive slab of concrete we just passed under is the real London Bridge. Ahead of us you see Tower Bridge. Don't worry if you got them mixed up though, many people often do, including Google Images. If you were to search for London Bridge, the first bridge you'll see is of Tower Bridge. In fact, in 2006, singer Fergie of the Black Eyed Peas released a single titled London Bridge. But in our music video, she's twerking away on Tower Bridge. Silly Fergie. Now the next thing I'm going to point out might be a little bit difficult to see right now as it's currently in Arctic camouflage. But if you look very closely just ahead to your right, you may be able to spot that 11,500 ton battle cruiser. Her name is HMS Belfast. She played an active role in sinking German ships during the D-Day landings of World War II and is now permanently moored here as a floating naval museum. The Belfast forward guns are actually loaded and can fire a distance of 12 miles. They are firmly positioned today to score a direct hit on the London Gateway service station at Scratchwood. So for anyone that drove in today, I definitely recommend planning your toilet trips home accordingly. Now you can do an ordinary tour of the Belfast, or you can have a sleepover on that boat. It's called a kip on the ship. They really do offer an overnight package, but I'd maybe recommend taking an extra blanket and a pillow. Over on your left hand side you get your first views of the Tower of London, which was first built by William the Conqueror in 1066 and completed by William II in 1100. Over the years it's had many functions. It's been a palace, an observatory, a royal mint, an armoury and even a zoo. That's right, there was a time you could find lions and tigers roaming around inside the tower's grounds. But I will speak more about its most notorious functions on the way back, because all eyes now are of course on Tower Bridge just ahead of us. Just a gentle reminder again on the upper deck, please do remain seated. That is everyone on the upper deck. It is very important that our captain can see where he's going, and no one at the back of the boat wants your heads in their photos. Tower Bridge was designed by Horace Jones and opened in 1894. It is a vascular bridge, which means the two parts in the middle will rise open, allowing tall ships to pass under. On its opening year, these bascules rose around 6,000 times. They rise far less frequently today, 1 to 2 times if you're lucky, but for anyone that has a tall enough boat, Tower Bridge will open for you, provided you give 24 hours notice. Now for anyone that happens to be in London over the next weekend, Tower Bridge will actually be open for 4 full days while they carry out essential maintenance work. So if you're looking to get that pretty unique shot of the bridge fully open, I would recommend coming back at the weekend. Now I've been attempting to train you somewhat in vain to wave at the people on the bridges. As an old sailor's legend claims, if you were to wave at someone on Tower Bridge and receive a wave back, you will get 5 years of good luck for the entire boat. I don't know about you, but I've had a rough couple of years. And I'm on the bridge. There we go. Anyone that's old enough can now go and buy a lottery ticket. I'll happily take 20% of any winnings. We have just entered the Old Port of London, at one time one of the busiest river ports in the world. Those buildings you see on the right, Butler's Wharf and the Spice Market, were once old warehouses, with wharf meaning warehouse at riverfront. They are no longer needed for that today, so in classic London fashion they have been turned into luxury apartments. A single bedroom apartment here will set you back £3.5 million. Now as we turn, you will get your excellent photo opportunities of the day. On your left hand side, a picture of Tower Bridge with the river and the city of London behind. Now as you turn, please do remain seated for me, that is very important, and I will tell you my favourite story about a foggy day in 1952. There was a bus driver named Albert Gunter driving his double-decker bus along that bridge. As he approached the centre, he noticed it was beginning to rise beneath him. The lives of all the people on board were at stake, so Albert had to make a quick split-second decision. Does he come to a stop, or does he continue? Albert decided to risk his luck, put his foot down and jumped the 3-metre wide gap, luckily landing safely on the other side and everyone on board survived. Albert is still regarded as a local hero today. In fact, 2 people on board were getting married later that year. Albert was invited to be the best man and even drove the bride to the wedding in his bus. That metalwork you see on the bridge is the original. It was first painted brown. Queen Victoria's favourite colour was of course the colour of chocolate, but Queen Elizabeth II was a bit more sensible and opted for a more traditional red, white and blue. Now the bridge can actually stand on its metal framework. All the stonework you see is purely cosmetic. All of this is Cornish granite and it was added later so that the Tower Bridge would match the Tower of London, which will be coming up on our right hand side in just a few moments. They give a big wave to all the people on this side of the bridge first. Hello on the bridge! Let's see if anyone waved back. Maybe not. We're not getting a lot of luck. There we go. We got a single wave. Now, as I mentioned, the Tower of London has had many functions. Mostly touristy though, of course, it has been a place of imprisonment, torture and execution. If you can see the words entry to the Traitors' Gate, to your right, just over an old bricked up tunnel above the waterline, that is where prisoners will be taken by boat into the tower's grounds to have their heads removed. Now, despite what you may think, there were actually only 22 executions that took place here. Some famous names include Catherine Howard and Anne Boleyn, the wives of Henry VIII, as well as Guy Fawkes. Now, Guy Fawkes was the only commoner ever executed inside the tower's grounds, as this was a courtesy saved for royalty just before their death. Many commoners were executed just outside on Tower Hill in front of a public crowd. For anyone that is planning on visiting the Tower of London, don't worry, you won't see any executions today, but with your entrance you can see the crown jewels. They are guarded by the yeoman warders, more commonly known as the Beefeaters. Now, just some personal advice for anyone that is planning on visiting the Tower, I don't recommend booking a tour online in advance. If you speak to the yeoman warders very kindly, they'll be more than happy to offer you a tour for free. As they live and work inside the grounds, their tours are excellent as their history is unmatched. There is just a saying here in London though that goes, if you are to tip any tour guide you find in the city, you'll get 10 years of good luck. So maybe keep that in mind for later on. Then over on your left hand side, you might have to look up a bit to spot the very top of the Shard, which is Western Europe's tallest building. It stands at 309 metres tall and is actually as high as aviation laws in the UK will allow. Any taller and it would interrupt air traffic flow into London City Airport. The Shard was designed by a man named Renzo Piano and opened in 2012 and is now home to offices, cafes, restaurants, a viewing gallery, the 5-star Shangri-La Hotel and even some apartments. That's right, you can live in the Shard, if anyone happens to have £43 million. Before anyone goes and makes any impulse purchases though, just some advice about living in the Shard. You won't have access to a garden, you can't keep any pets, and you can't open any of your windows. However, Will.i.am might be your neighbour as he is rumoured to own the top floor. I'm not sure if that's worth £43 million though, that's up to you. Now we are approaching the real London Bridge once again. If there is anyone that still doesn't believe me that this is London Bridge, as you pass under, make sure you look to your left or right and you'll see they engraved it in the stone. London Bridge had to prove itself by labelling itself. Now this is the point in the city where the Romans built the first bridge, crossing the Thames in around 50 AD. But of course the bridge you see today was not built by the Romans. Anyone familiar with the nursery of London Bridges falling down will know that London Bridge fell down many times. This one was actually completed in the 70s after our Victorian version began to collapse. We then decided to sell our Victorian version to an American man named Robert P. McCulloch, who bought it for $2.5 million and then shipped it brick by brick over to Lake Havasu in Arizona. It now stands there reconstructed as a tourist attraction. Give a big wave to all the people on the real London Bridge. They're looking dead at us, that's quite mean if they don't wave back, but there we go. Over on your left hand side, you'll be able to spot a real life pilot ship. Or at least a replicable one. Now in St. Francis Drake, the Golden Hind. Francis Drake set sail from Plymouth and became the first Englishman to circumnavigate the globe. Or he did so kind of by accident. His original aim was to go around the world stealing lots of gold from Spanish and Portuguese ships returning from South America. Now Drake did such an excellent job of this, and he stole so much gold, he realised he simply couldn't turn around and face all those angry Spanish again. So he continued in a straight line all the way around the world until he came back to England on the other side. When he returned, he had amassed so much gold, he paid off the English debt 3 times over. So we were so happy we awarded him with an estate and a knighthood. Now if you look to your right hand side under Cannon Street Railway Bridge, Give a big wave to all those people you see in the sauna. They are very friendly. Now, we do think that they meant to put in one-way facing glass, but unfortunately while they can look out, we can also look in at them. This next bridge we're approaching is Southwark Bridge, which gets the nickname of the Lonely Bridge, as it has the lowest footfall of all the bridges in the city. Probably because it connects nothing of interest on the left to nothing of interest on the right, and Google Maps generally avoids it. So anyone you see on the top is quite possibly lost. Feel free to give them a pity wave. Anyone that waves back is definitely a cry for help. Now, the Southwark Bridge is the last gaslit bridge here in London. By that, I don't mean we try and convince it it's not a bridge. I mean the lamps on either side are powered by gas. So in the evenings, if you're looking for somewhere to take a nice romantic stroll without going anywhere in particular, Southwark Bridge is just your spot. Now, you may remember me earlier talking about a competition held to find a new landmark for the millennium. The bridge ahead of us is a design that beat the London Eye and won that competition. Its official name is Millennium Bridge, but we do refer to it as the Wobbly Bridge here in London, as on its opening weekend in June of the year 2000, around 160,000 people crossed that bridge. As we crossed, they noticed the wobble was so severe that people were falling over and throwing up off the sides. 3 days later, the bridge had to be closed by the police. Now, the designer of this bridge was a man named Norman Foster. Norman was not from London, he was from the north of England. So when he was questioned about what on earth had gone wrong with his bridge, he stood there quite proudly on live television and said, "That has nothing to do with my design, it's all to do with the way you Londoners walk." Apparently we march everywhere, and that had caused the sway. I'm not sure if that's true, but either way, the bridge was closed for 2 years while NASA engineers installed 91 earthquake dampeners along the bottom. It will forever be known as the Wobbly Bridge, despite the fact it doesn't wobble anymore. Now, here in London, we do like to nickname our skyscrapers based on their strange shapes. The one you see ahead on the left is one of the newest additions to the skyline. Its official name is known as the Blackfriars, the Sunstreet, the Baby Bump, the Boomerang, the Cocktail Shaker, but the one that seems to stick out most of all is the Kim Kardashian. I'll let you make your own assumptions as to why. This next bridge we're approaching is the Blackfriars train station. This is the only train station here in London to have an entrance on both the north and the south side. It's also the only station here in London. It's the only station in the world to span the entire length of a river. Along its roof you can see an entire set of solar panels, meaning on a hot sunny day here in London, the whole station is solar powered. The other 364 days, it is of course powered by the national grid. There's a lot of commuters in there waiting for their trains to take them home, so feel free to give them a wave. Not sure if any of them will wave back though, but we can try anyway. And give another big wave to all the people on this Blackfriars Road Bridge. There's already some lovely people up there waving. Side, you'll notice some construction work going on our embankment. You may be wondering, is this a new tube station? Maybe a new skyscraper? Perhaps even the London Eye 2.0? Well, I can tell you it's actually none of these. This is London's very own Super Pooper. By that I mean it's an upgrade to our sewage system. The Victorians built their road system in 1850 after an event known as the Great Stink. Previously, all the raw waste in the city used to flow directly into the river, meaning on one hot sunny day, all that waste heated up and fermented, causing a resultant stench that was so bad 50% of London relocated and Parliament closed. If you know anything about the British government, you'll know that nothing gets done until it affects a politician personally. So when this happened, a man named Joseph Bazalgette was hired to create the Victorian sewage system you can see today. The walls of the embankment are a part of this. He narrowed the river in order to increase the flow of water to wash out all that stink. Joseph's work is one of the reasons why the Thames is the cleanest urban river in the world. Now I know almost no one is going to believe me when I say that, just look at it. But I promise it is, and you can test this yourself. If you were to take a glass of Thames water home tonight, leave it on your bedside table. In the morning you'll find a layer of clear water on the top and a layer of sand and mud on the bottom. The Thames is tidal and it's so fast flowing that it churns up all the soft sediment on the bottom. This water is so clean that it is home to more than 125 species of aquatic life. We have everything here from seals, porpoises, eels, jellyfish, all the way through to whales and sharks. That's right, I did say sharks. We have two species of shark that live right here in the Thames. The first is the tope shark, which could go up to 6 foot in length, and the second is the spur dog, which is venomous. So it might be a clean river, but I don't recommend going for a swim. Now if you look to your right hand side, just past this ship, on towards the embankment, you'll see those green lion's heads with rings in their mouths. They were mooring points, a place for Victorians to tie up their boats, but they also serve as a flood detection system, and we have a silly rhyme to go with them. If the lions are drinking, London is sinking. If it's up to their mates, we're going down the drain. And if the lions' heads are ducked, well, London is flooded. Flooded, of course. Now, just before Waterloo Bridge, just after Waterloo Bridge, you'll see that square-shaped building with a single flag on the top. That is the Savoy Hotel, which opened in 1889 to accompany Richard Royley Carr's Savoy Theatre. Over the years, it held many famous names, from Charlie Chaplin and Marilyn Monroe, all the way through to Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift. The most expensive room at the Savoy is the Royal Suite. This will set you back a grand total of £18,000 a night with a 3-night minimum stay. For that price though, you get a hand-stitched mattress, a butler, a chauffeur and even a personal therapist. I do think you'll be needing a therapist after spending that much on a hotel room, but that's just me. Give a big wave to all the people you see on this side of Waterloo Bridge. Hello on the bridge! But they don't seem to be paying attention. This is quite disappointing today. Over on the right hand side you can see the oldest thing you'll see today, being even older than the City of London itself. That stone needle is Cleopatra's needle and it's more than 3,000 years old. Now I know what you're all thinking, it's just another piece of Egyptology that we have stolen. But for once, and the only time here in London, I can tell you that's not true. Cleopatra's needle was gifted to the British government in 1819 as a thank you for our help in the Battle of the Nile. I'll repeat, this was a gift. Can't say the same for anything in the British Museum though. Now if you look at the sphinxes on either side, you'll see they are facing inwards. They're not meant to do that, they should be facing outwards to protect the needle from any danger. The Victorians didn't know this, placed them inwards so they just look like they're having a chat. Now we are approaching the last bridges of the tour, so it's now time to let you know that the toilets on board will be closed and will not be reopening for the duration of the journey. Should you need, you can go into the London Eye ticket office when you disembark and you'll find plenty more for free of charge. This is also your very last opportunity to wave at a stranger and get a wave back. If you were to try this on the tube later on tonight, people won't be as friendly, so I really don't recommend. Hello on the bridge! There we go, that's a nice good one for our last bridge. Opposite the London Eye, behind those trees, you'll see the building with the green roof and many flags on the top. This is the Ministry of Defence, which has the nickname of the iceberg, as what you see on the top is just the tip of the iceberg. It's much bigger underground, including miles long of nuclear-proof bunkers. So in case of nuclear attack, rest assured all our politicians and monarchy will be safe. Unfortunately, we can't say the same for the rest of us though, as it is invite only. When the London Eye was reconstructed in 1999, they attempted to take the eye to court. They were concerned that foreign spies would go up into the top of its eye and use telescopes to spy on top secret documents. Now this genuinely did go to court for all of about 5 minutes. The court told them, you are quite literally the Ministry of Defence, please just buy some curtains. And that was it, case closed. Now as we are approaching the London Eye Pier once more, I will just ask everyone on the upper deck, please do remain seated for me. As we carry out our docking procedure, it is very important that our captain can see where he's going. And as we approach the pier, things might get a little bit bumpy, and I don't want to lose anyone overboard this late into the journey. That will be a lot of paperwork for me. So please do remain seated for me until I let you know it's safe to move about the boat. The behind the London Eye, you see the building known as County Hall, which is once home to Greater London City Council until Margaret Thatcher threw them out. It's now home to Merlin Entertainment, so as well as the London Eye Ticket Office. Here you can find Shrek's Adventure, the London Dungeons and the Sea Life London Aquarium. That's loads of great things to do if you're ever running out of ideas of what to do in our wonderful city. Now, if any of these do sound interesting to you, you can take your River Cruise tickets into our ticket office and they'll be more than happy to upgrade you to any of these attractions for a discounted price. All of these are actually closed for tonight, but don't worry, your tickets will be valid for up to 90 days. So if you wanted to come back tomorrow or any time within the next 3 months, you are more than welcome to do so. Now please do just remain seated for me for just another moment. But I would just like to take this opportunity to thank you all for joining us here on board today. If you feel called to do so, feel free to leave us a review on TripAdvisor. If you enjoyed my tour, feel free to mention me in your review. My name is Holly. If you didn't enjoy yourself though, just keep it to yourself. Things will pick up later. There's also a feedback machine on up here which just takes a few moments to fill out if you had a spare second. It just gives my managers an indication on how things are running on here. Now please just bear with us for a few more moments while we finish our docking procedure. But use this opportunity to gather together all your personal items. That includes all your bags, hats, glasses, jackets, all your children, and please don't leave those behind. Any rubbish on your way out, please do leave in our bins provided. Just bear with us for one more moment.
And that's the only thing else.